Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to today's edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Wake Up Wednesday. Some of us are awake, some of us not so much, but we all gonna do the best that we can, right, Bree? Bree's like, can I just get the snooze button one more time?
One more time.
Well, welcome everyone to Wake Up Wednesday, our day where we focus on the importance of being intentional. I have a hard stop today at the top of the hour, so we will be as succinct as possible. We'll cover our points and then we will let everyone go to get on with the rest of their day. So I'm going to jump right in with today's quote. Let's see. It's a wonderful thing to be intentional about the creation of your life story. Most people just let it happen to them. Be intentional, not accidental, right? Be intentional in how you show up for your life. Don't just allow your life to be reactions to response to circumstances around you, right? Things happen, you react, and your life ends up unfolding one reaction at a time. But if we step back for just a moment, if we purpose in our minds that there is a purpose for our existence, there is something that we were designed to do. We're here for a reason. We are a person of value and capabilities, and our life mission is to live out those values and those capabilities because we know that when we do, we affect our community positively. The world gets better as we walk into our purpose and live that out loud. I know my world has gotten better the more I've gotten to know myself, the more I've learned to love myself, the more that I have walked in my purpose, the more fulfilling my life is. I love when I think about intentionality and focus. I often think about the one I saw Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. He was walking through a crowd, maybe into a game or out of a game, and all the reporters were around, and they were shoving the microphones in his face, and somebody asked him something about work, I believe, and his response was, "I don't go to work. I go to my purpose every day." And because I go to my purpose, I've never worked a day in my life. That's a powerful statement, but I think it's so true. The people who are most fulfilled are walking in their purpose. And people will say to you, I don't see how you do it. How do you get so much done? How do you keep going? Where do you get all that energy from? It all comes from living, walking, being, existing in and through your purpose. That energy comes because you're fueled, you're fulfilled by doing the things that you were designed to do. And I'm not talking about what somebody told me. I'm talking about my life. The more I get a chance to do things like this, the more opportunities I get to speak on the topics that are important to me. Yesterday, had a great event with a group of ladies on the job about imposter syndrome. We did it about a month ago, and as we were closing out, they started to ask if we could do it again. So I said, yes, if y'all want me back, I'm happy to come back. And our second session was yesterday. And I'm talking pure fulfillment. Worked all day, had a full schedule, but just having that hour with them, it recharged my battery. It wiped away some of the tired from all that had happened up until that point, and it gave me the strength to do what was next. There is power in your purpose. So when you take the time to go inside, to connect with your higher power, and to understand what your purpose is, who you really are, why you're here, what's your contribution, what is your value to this world, because we all have one. And it's such a sad existence to not feel like you do. You're just moving aimlessly through life as life is happening, you're reacting. But no real roadmap, no point of reference as to where it is that you're trying to go. That aimless living is very, very unfulfilling. And if you find yourself that way, it's just time to stop and pause and think and connect and think back over your life and ask yourself some questions. What am I doing when I'm at my best? What brings me the most happiness? Who am I with when I feel most fulfilled? What are we doing? Where are we going? What types of things are going on around me? Allow yourself to connect with who you are, who you were. What were the things you dreamed of? Most little boys want to be firemen and army men and policemen, and girls want to be whatever. Beyond that, when you think about your strengths, when you think about your natural organic abilities, when you think about the things that people resonate to you for, the questions that you always get, what are people just naturally drawn to you for? There's clues in that. That's pointing you towards your gifting. People have always brought me their problems. They've always talked to me about what was going on with their life. They felt there was a safe place to do it. So they would dump their bucket, right? And we would talk through it. And then they would go on a little bit more refreshed and feeling a little lighter because they've gotten some of that stuff off their chest. So I've thought through my life, maybe I'm going to be a therapist. I like to talk. I like to connect with people. Maybe I'm going to be a broadcaster. I've been searching, at some level, even if it was subconsciously, my entire life, because I was always doing things, right? I've had jobs and eventually had a career. And so all of those things have happened as life has unfolded, but I didn't know why I was here. What was that big thing? And you may not think about your thing as a big thing, but I promise you, it's a big thing to the people that you affect. There is somebody that's waiting for your message, waiting for your hug, waiting for your encouragement, waiting for the book that you're going to write, waiting for the song that you're going to sing. Whatever it is that you were designed to do, there's an audience that's missing that thing right now. They're waiting for that missing piece in their puzzle, and you're it. And when you understand that you are that important, not just to yourself, not just to your family and the people that you know about, but there is a group of people. I don't know if it's two, I don't know if it's 2 million, but there's somebody that's missing something, and that something is going to come from your life. You're that important. You are the answer to someone's prayers. You are that important. And when you realize that, you're a little bit more cautious about how you spend your time. You're more mindful and thoughtful about the things that you get involved in. You say yes to the things that are going to move you towards your goals, and you say no to everything else. It sounds good. It looks like a great opportunity, but it's not the right thing for me. It's not moving me towards what it is that I am looking to do. I have to do that all the time. And no was something that was very difficult for me. I was a people pleaser, so I wanted to do things that made other people happy. I wanted to do things that would excite people. And when I said no, I internalized that to a point that it would almost make me physically sick. I hated saying no to people because I felt like I was letting them down. But I had to learn that in saying yes to everything, the person that I was often letting down was me. The person who was getting turned away from their goals and the things that were important to them was me, because I was so busy trying to be pleasing to everybody else. And I didn't have a clear vision of what it was that I really wanted. So there was no opportunity for me to live with intention. In order to be intentional, you have to be intentional about a thing. So you need to identify what that thing is, right? So I don't miss opportunities to speak. I don't miss opportunities to share my message. I don't miss opportunities to talk about mindset. When those opportunities come up, I jump on them if they're possible, because I know they're contributing to the greater mission. I can't see the full mission. I can just see what I'm doing right now. I can see that I'm getting better. I can see progress over perfection. And that has to be good enough. But what I know is that there's a bigger plan beyond how far my eyes can see. Brian is driving right now. He can only see so far down the road. He knows when he takes the right turns, the right stops, goes in the right direction, he's going to end up where it is he intends to go. But you can only see so far at any point in time, even though there's more out there. Our lives are like that. So we make the most and we make great decisions with what we can see, so that it's accelerating us and preparing us for what's over the hill, what's coming next, what's around the corner. That's the important part of the equation. We talked about that yesterday. Doing the right thing right now, doing the most that you can with what you have in this moment. Because in doing that, you're going to prepare yourself better for your next, for whatever is coming in the future for you as you move towards your destiny. Sierra, there's my daughter. Good morning, beautiful. Hey, Sonia says good morning to everyone. And let's see. Like Morgana. That's one of my bonus babies. Welcome, Morgan. It's always good to see you. Virtual hugs. Say hello to your mom and RJ for me. Let's see, did I miss anybody? 2013, Still Smiling, an official Key Sweat 2024. Well, welcome to you both. It is great to see that you have joined us as we're going through, and this is for any and everybody. I love getting your comments. If something resonates with you, drop a comment. If something reminds you of an experience that you've had, drop a comment. Anything that you want to share about the topic of being intentional, how it has worked for you, or how not being intentional has been a hindrance, and you're going to grab on to intentionality so that you can better direct your life. Any comments that you have will be helpful to everyone that's listening and watching. So feel free to share. I can only say so much. I come and I'm a talking head when it comes to my point of view, but the conversations get richer and richer and are more involved when you guys jump in and share as well. So I look forward to seeing your comments, and I will share those as they roll in. I'll talk about being intentional. This evening at 6 p.m. Central, I will be doing my live audio event on LinkedIn. I started a room a year ago, exactly a year ago today, called Taming Your Inner Voice. Because you guys know the voice within wins, talking about mindset. That is my space. That's what I believe is the most important work. If we can tap into that inner messaging and see where we are holding ourselves back through negative self-talk, if we can do the work to reframe that, we open up a world of possibilities for ourselves that's so much beyond what we have today. So, hello world, does this work? Can you see my post? Absolutely, Sheldon Dawson, I see your post. Hello right back to you, and thank you for joining. You guys, just like Sheldon, drop your comments, and as I see them, as long as they are appropriate, I will share them with the rest of the audience. All right, so we were talking about intentionality, the importance of intentionality. You can't be intentional without clarity, right? So find the time to sit back and really focus in on what's important to you. Who am I? What are my core values? What are my non-negotiables? What are the things that I really want out of this life? What do I want to leave behind for the family members that I won't ever meet? I think about, I'm a grandmother now, many times over. So I get so much joy out of the grandbabies. But I seriously doubt if I'll meet their grandbabies, right? You know, we as humans, we have a lifespan. But I think about my grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren, right? I don't know what this world will look like then, but I want their grandmother, their crusty old picture over the fireplace, because I talk about that all the time. I want to leave such an impact on my family that generations from now, there's a picture over the fireplace or somewhere in the house of this old lady, and the kids are wondering, Mom, who is that old lady? Why does everybody have her picture in our house? And I want them to say, she made a difference. She put our family on a trajectory that allowed us to have the things that you have, to have the experiences that you have, to travel the world, to experience different cultures. She opened our family up to new beginnings. And because of her, the family has continued to move forward. She laid that foundation. That's what I want my branch to feel about me. And I'm really intentional about that. I'm serious about that. So that means what I do, how I spend my time, what I do with my resources, I'm thinking generations down the road, way down. What is that going to do? How is that going to impact potentially the children that I will never meet? What world am I leaving behind for my kids and their kids and their kids and so on. And because that's my vision, that's what's important to me. That's a part of the core. I want to leave behind. I don't want to leave behind debt. I don't want to leave behind trauma and drama and a bunch of bad feelings, right? So my relationships with my kids and their kids are important to me, right? So you put time into it. You make space. Sometimes you sacrifice to make sure that they have the things that they need, even as adults. My kids will never be older than me. So they're always going to be my babies. And I keep those thoughts are playing in my head all the time. How can I make their lives a little bit better? Because in making their lives a little bit better, they're going to make my grandkids' lives a little bit better. That sets them up one day to be better parents, better humans, better entrepreneurs, better employees, whatever the case may be, right? Setting that example now, that's going to positively affect the future. I think about that all the time. It's one of the most important things to me, that my branch of my family tree continues to move forward and advance and experience a life very, very different than the one that I experienced. Mine wasn't bad. It was typical, but there was a lot of poverty. I want poverty to be rooted out of my family. So the decisions that I make with finances and the conversations that I have with my children about finances, they matter because I want them to make better decisions than I made. I have to make better decisions than my mom made. Hopefully she's in a position to make better decisions than her mom made. And we keep moving the family forward until we build something that's unshakable, right? We build something that's so deeply rooted that it's foundational to everybody. And they grow up in an environment where they learn the things that matter, and they learn how to manage what they have, and they learn how to give and be philanthropic. You can't be philanthropic if you have nothing. How can you help the world if your world is completely in shambles? You try, you know, volunteering your time really helps because it helps you to be more gracious for what you do have. But if you really want to make an impact, you need to get your stuff together, right? The more together I am, the more I can bless my family and others. The more together my children are, the more they can bless their children and others. And it goes on and on and on. And so we have to be intentional about imparting those things to those around us. I absolutely believe that by the mere fact that I exist, I've made the world a better place. I can't see it all. I will never see it all, but I see my kids, I see my grandkids, I see my employees, and I let that remind me of the responsibility that I have just as a human being, not as a mom, not as a this or that, but just by the mere fact that I'm a human being, I have some responsibility that I'm intentional about. The energy that I bring into a room, I'm intentional about it, which means sometimes I have to pause before I go into that room because I know I've been triggered in some way and I'm not at my best self. But maybe the room that I'm going into has absolutely nothing to do with that. So why bring that negativity into the room? Take a pause, get yourself together, shift your energy, and then walk in, ready to positively affect that space. That's being intentional, right? There's some things that I have sold my time. I talk about it all the time. When we have a job, we've sold our time for task. So Monday through Friday, from about 8 o'clock in the morning to 5, 6, sometimes much later in the evening, my time is sold, which means I have to get up early to do this so I can go and honor that contract. That means I have to do this stuff in the evening after I've honored that contract. I have family, I have kids, I have grandkids, I have a great husband. I have to figure out on a regular basis intentionally how to make it all work. A lot of times I drop a ball or two. I just can't get it right all the time because last time I checked, I was still human. No S on my chest. As much as I'd love to have one, haven't earned the S, right? So being intentional with my time, being intentional with my communications, being intentional in my relationships, being intentional in my messaging, being intentional in my actions. It makes all the difference in the world. I am the type of person who grew up in a loud environment with lots of activities going on all the time. And I was a nerd, studious, loved to learn. I could read a book in a day if I could find the time. And so I was always reading, always doing things, but there was stuff happening around me. So I learned to block out that noise and really be able to laser focus in on whatever it is I'm doing, homework or reading the next book, whatever it was. I learned that. And so, but now if I don't be careful, if I'm not careful about it, that could be relationship limiting. I remember my kids, mom. Mom's brain was focused on whatever it was she was doing, and all the kid noise that was around me, I could tune it out. I'd been doing it my whole life. So I have to be intentional about being present. I have to be intentional about locking in into a conversation and not allow my brain to wander. You too, Sierra. Have a great day, sweetheart. Not allowing my brain to just be all over the place, because it will. I have to tell myself, lock in. Something important is happening because someone important is in front of you. Someone important is on the phone with you. Someone important is here. So they deserve your attention in this moment. I talk to myself to bring myself present, because I know my brain could be trying to do 50 things at a time, which means I'm not giving anything the attention that it deserves. So being intentional means snapping yourself into the present. How do you start your day? I'm intentional about that. 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then I get dressed. And then I come and check all my equipment and start the day here. And I slide into my work day, right? A lot of times in the evenings, I already know exactly what it is I'm supposed to do. But intentionality can go deeper, because when you wake up in the morning, if you give yourself just a few minutes before you get busy, what are 2 things that I am going to absolutely accomplish today? If you decide that there's some things that you're going to accomplish, you've by default have created intentionality. And now as you walk through your day, you are creating and doing tasks and things that are going to help you accomplish what you set your intentions on early. Man, it feels good at the end of the day. I said I was going to do these 2 things. I actually got 4 things done, because intentionality breeds intentionality, and it just keeps going. And you get good at being focused. You get good at grabbing on to the things that are important to you and making sure that you create time for them. Hello, Kim. One of the people that are absolutely important to me, Miss Kim Graff. Welcome. Always glad to see you. She says, good morning. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate you more than you know. I appreciate you more than you know. You and Conchita, I was thinking about that. I feel like I have been assigned to you guys. That you guys have, at this point in your life, you have an assignment of uplifting and supporting me, because you do it so naturally and so consistently. You guys drop me messages of encouragement all the time, and I'm like, God, I think you're doing something through these women. I don't know if they know it, but I feel like you've assigned me to them, and that part of what it is that they are designed to do in this moment is to keep me encouraged and to keep me lifted, because you guys absolutely do that, and that I appreciate more than you will ever know. Sheldon said this would be a good audible short. All right, Sheldon, I like how you think. I do have somebody that goes through my videos for me, and a clip, and take a clip of 60 seconds or less, and we'll create little video clips along with whatever post we're talking about for the day. So I get a little bit of that, but I'm curious if that's what you're talking about, or if you have something else in mind. So you should DM me and tell me what you're thinking, because you may be expanding my reach a little bit more beyond what I'm thinking. And that happens all the time. That's the beauty of community. So I'd love to hear exactly what you were thinking there, Sheldon. Kim said, I have said this before, but I love hearing you say it too. My youngest always says that mom, lock in, or he says I'm locked in, meaning him, makes me smile. We have to. She says, you are a tribal leader. I understand the assignment. I appreciate you accepting the assignment, Kim, because the days do get long, and it doesn't matter how positive you are. You know, there are times where you're just like, oh man, am I doing the right thing? You can start to second guess yourself no matter who you are and what you've done. There's always going to be that part of you that's evolving, transforming, trying to improve. I mentioned to you guys earlier that I did this talk yesterday with a group of women on imposter syndrome, and we originally did it a month ago. And at the end of it, somebody piped in and said, "Hey, could we do this again? This is a topic we need to dig deeper on." So the first one was really more about what it is, and then the second one was dug deeper than the first one did on techniques that you can use to overcome it, to subdue that imposter syndrome. And so the lady who pull the event together actually used our interactions as an example, because she had posted on our company board this virtual space that she was looking for somebody to talk about imposter syndrome. I got excited when I saw it, because I love doing those types of things. And I really love when I get to do it on the job, because it balances out the crazy of the actual job that I do and brings in a little, more and more and more of this part of me gets to show up in the job, which is very, very fulfilling. So I was excited when I saw it. But someone had commented prior to me, and she had, whoever commented had left the name of a counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, some well-educated person in the mental health space had left their name and said, "Hey, this may be a really good person for you to reach out to talk about this." And so immediately I'm thinking, well, that blows it for me, because I'm not that, my degree's in business. So if that person's an option, that person would make more sense. But for whatever reason, pushing through those self-limiting beliefs, that negative self-talk, I still responded. And I said, "Hey, if you're looking for a regular person who talks about this stuff all the time, a fellow IBMer, I'm happy to share my experience. I dealt with it. I've overcome it. I have this morning show. I talk about these types of things all the time. So if you want just a regular person, not somebody who that's their field of expertise, sure, reach out." So she scheduled a meeting, and she said, I was a little hesitant because you didn't seem very sure. She said, "As I was reading your message, I pictured you with your shoulders humped and, unsure, shy about the conversation." She said, "It gave me a picture how you worded your response." And she was like, "I hope I'm not putting you on the spot," because this is literally during our conversation yesterday. And I said, "No, it's a great example. Please put me on the spot." And so she was saying how she felt. And then when she talked to me on the phone or on our live, she was like, "You had so much energy. You were so assured. You knew what you were talking about. It wasn't the same person that I read. I didn't hear that self-doubt in you that I read in your message." And I told her, "I'm glad that you brought this out. It's a perfect example. And what you don't know is that I had read the person's comment before." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'll put it out there, but there's no reason for them to choose me because they've got this option of this professional. So that's what was coming through in my message. And she said, "Aha," because that's exactly what I felt in your message, some sort of hesitancy or self-doubt. And here I am talking to them about imposter syndrome. But part of the message is we're all a work in progress. We never get it right 100% of the time. The old me, if she had done that, I would have been so embarrassed. I may have gotten defensive and tried to tell her that she read it wrong. Who knows where the conversation had been? But this is somebody who has set me up not once now, but twice in front of a group of people to do what I love to do, had been very, very complimentary, had encouraged them to start following me on social and all this stuff. So I knew this was somebody who thought well of me. There was no reason for me to be defensive. But when you're not self-assured, when you process things differently, I could have processed it as a criticism and it could have triggered some other things. But it was absolutely perfect in that moment to help people say, don't compare me to what you're experiencing and think I've got all the answers. Just because I'm talking about a topic, I tell people all the time, you just have the privilege of a front row seat of seeing me work out my stuff. I don't believe I have all the answers. That's why I invite you guys to comment as well, to bring in your experiences as well. It's going to expand and enrich the conversation because I'm going through and talking about what I have experienced and what worked for me. If I was to write it down step by step and you did exactly what I did, you wouldn't have the same results, because your own personal, your own unique point of view and experiences and how you process is going to come in. So I'm just sharing examples that you can take and personalize and find what works for you. I would never say this is what you should do. What I will say is this is what I did, and here are the results. And hopefully there's something in it that's beneficial for you. That's the point of view I come from. And I'm intentional about that because I have enough sense to know that I don't have all the answers, and that you know your life better than I ever could. And when I look at you as an expert over your life and not me as the expert, you are the expert of your life. You know, when you hear a thing, what resonates with you, what gets you excited, what's going to motivate you to take that next step. While other things that I say, they may just fall away. Sounded good, but it wouldn't work for me. So I encourage you to take what works and leave what doesn't for the next person, because that may be the very thing that resonates with somebody else. And that's also why I keep encouraging you guys to share your experiences, because you'll be the very one, you'll type the very thing that's going to resonate with somebody else. So being intentional and not accidental, thinking through a thing before you implement a thing, being responsive, giving yourself the space to think and to respond and then act, versus being reactionary and just being all over the place, led by your emotions and controlled by whatever external circumstances you're experiencing. We're better than that, and we're capable of more than that. And we feel so much better when we're in the driver's seat of our responses and how we show up in the world. And that takes intentionality. Let's see. What did Sheldon say? You could make a short, free 45-minute selection of your morning show on Audible for a motivational speech to increase market saturation among people that listen to Audible, then some paid content afterwards to get money once established. I love that. I've looked at Audible because I have a book, Sheldon, that I released on March the 25th. That's what the background is about: Soar Beyond Limits, Unleashing the Power Within. And I keep telling myself I'm going to figure out this Audible thing, because I know that there are some people who would like to get the speaking version of the book. So maybe, because I am going to be on vacation next week and relaxing on the beach and doing a whole lot of nothing, so maybe I'll get a chance to dig into Audible a little bit more, and see if I can figure out that space and how to get into it, because it is definitely something that's on my to-do list. So thank you for bringing that back to the forefront of the conversation. It needed to be said because it's something that I was letting slide more and more to the background. Mr. Content, Brian, are you with us? Are you in a position where you can unmic and share your thoughts on intentionality?
Yeah, it's just another day. I'm just sitting back, soaking up game, listening to you, usually doing the same. Keep spitting it. You keep spitting it. I keep eating it up.
Well, I
Makes sense.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Anything you want to share from your point of view, or things that have been said so far?
I like what Kim said about you being a leader, a tribal leader. It was what was on my mind earlier, when
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about the so look at the best leaders in the world, right? The best leaders are not the ones that went into it wanting to lead. They were thrust into the position because of their stature, right? They didn't wake up and say, "Hey, I want to be a leader." That's
Right.
the best leaders are not the ones that say that. When you think about waking up, you have to realize, I had to realize that, okay, 9 times out of 10, what he wants me to do is not what I want to do, right? That's why I'm gonna be so good at it, because it's not what I wanted to do. Like, I love being a dad. I never wanted to be a dad. I was supposed to have been sitting on my private beach with a few adult ladies walking around, having a good time, laughing and joking. Now, I've got a bunch of adult ladies around me, but it's not the kind that I had in mind, right? I was thrust into this role of being a dad. And I love it. I'm glad he put me in this space, but I never had that thought in my mind. And most leaders don't. You have to wake up and realize that you're not in control of your thoughts. You don't have control of your thoughts. You have control over the thoughts that you allow to fill your mind.
Exactly.
That's what you got control over. This is not a creation station. I say it all the time. It is a sending and a receiving station. That's what our minds are. That's what our brains are. Wake yourself up to the idea that you are a big antenna for God, for the universe, right? Because it's not just God, right? There's the opposition out there too. He's sending signals your way. He's telling you, hey, you can do this, you can do that. And if you're not in tune properly, those signals are the ones that'll resonate. Wake up, realize that you're a big antenna and God has got a message for you. If you accept that, then he'll thrust you and put you in places you could never imagine. Take it from a dadpreneur that never wanted to. That preneur part, I always had that down. But the whole dad thing is taking me 23 years to finally just, ooh, this is what I am. Even if I ain't want to do it, I'm here now.
Thank you for that, Mr. Content. Dadpreneur. Let's see. Cassandra. That must be Cassandra Royston. 2013, still smiling. Is that who that is? The picture is small, but the profile looks like you. So I see you said Cassandra. So I think I know who that is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will love myself forever joined. I love your name. I love the message in your name. When we learn to love ourselves, right? We open ourselves up to be able to love. We have the love to give to everyone else, but love, just like everything else, when they say put on your oxygen mask first, the more you take care of you, the better shape you have yourself in, the more capable you are of positively affecting those around you. You have more to give when you give out of your overflow. When you give out of your need, then you're creating more and more and more need. So take care of you. It's not selfish. I love that Iyanla Van Zant said it's self-full. Taking care of yourself is not a selfish act. It's self-full. Taking care of you prepares you to be able to take care of others. But it begins with a strong foundation. And in order for you to have that strong foundation, you have to be very intentional about taking care of yourself. So just like all the shows now, I want to make sure that I give you guys some actionable steps and things to ponder between now and the next time we get together. So we're going to start with, in this game of intentionality, in expanding that into your life, being more and more intentional. What are some things that you can do to help you with that? Starting with creating an intentional morning ritual, routine, whatever word works for you. But every morning I start with the 3 things that I'm grateful for. That immediately puts my mind into positivity, into abundance, into focus on the things I have versus the things that I don't have. That's a part of my morning ritual. It slides me into prayer. It slides me into full gratitude. It starts my day off, empowers me up so that I'm ready and I'm in good energy when I hit the start stream button, right? And I show up for you guys. Sometimes, that is the only thing that gets me going. I may wake up and go, oh, I'm so tired. It doesn't last. I mean, I have been doing it for so long. I'm grateful for the tired. When I look back on what I've done this week, it's been a productive week. I've earned this tired, and I'm getting close to the weekend. So I'm so grateful. This tired says to me that I've been busy. I've been doing good work. I immediately turn those, even if they're semi-negative messages. I don't want to focus on the tired. I want to focus on the productivity that I've had. That builds me up. That reminds me that I'm progressing, and it puts me in a good headspace. Being in a good headspace is going to affect how you speak and what you do, what you'll try, what you won't try. So having that intentional morning routine is a great way to start your day and a great way to end your day so that you sleep well. Design your environment for intentionality, right? And what do we mean by that? Being intentional about what's around you. Every morning, I know at 7:15 a.m. Central, I'm going to hit that go live button. So That means I need my camera right, my lighting right, my mic right here. I need some water. I need pen and paper in case I think of something that I want to jot down for later, in case somebody says something powerful that I want to ruminate on. There's things. I keep my remote right here because I have hot flashes. I'm an old lady. So sometimes I have to turn that fan on and I don't want it to be distracted. So what do I need in my environment for me to be able to show up well and for this to be the best experience that I can give you? I've thought about those things. And if you could, they are all around me. What I don't need is distractions. So I set my phone on do not ring, do not disturb. I don't want a call to come in and grab my attention. If you see me looking down at my phone, that means that I'm getting a comment on this topic on one of the platforms, and I want to respond to them. That's the only thing that I would do in this moment. This time is dedicated for this. So it's yes to this and it's no to everything else until I'm done. That's intentional, and designing my environment to be intentional and to support what it is that I'm trying to do. Use technology mindfully. We always talk about taking the detoxes, right? Taking those technology detoxes, getting that distraction out of your way for a bit, allowing your brain to rest and not be distracted by technology. But there's also a lot of great apps within technology. If you're going to be scrolling, if you're going to use it all the time, you may as well use it in a way that's positive and that's going to help you in this journey. You can find apps on mindfulness, right? You can find meditation apps. You can find all kinds of things. You can find positive affirmation apps where they'll send them to you at the same time every day. There's all kinds of things out there. So if technology is a big piece of your life like it is mine, help it to work for you so that you're not just getting the news. You're not just getting the brain dead TV is what I call it. All that stuff that's a distraction that can trigger you, that can frustrate you, but it doesn't really aid you in showing up as the best person that you are designed to be. Do you have a playlist of music that's uplifting to you? When you go for that mindful walk, maybe you're playing something that inspires you. Kim was saying earlier that how much she likes Audible because she likes to listen to books while she's en route, running her errands and things like that. Use technology mindfully so that it is not just this thing that we think is so horrible. It's just like everything else. It's a tool, and how you use the tool will determine what you get out of the tool. So make sure that you're mindful about how you're using it. Implement a daily intentions planner. That can be as simple as a pen and paper where you sit down at the beginning of every day, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, and you set your intentions for the day. My intention may be as simple as I'm going to bring light into every room that I walk into. I know I've got some tough meetings ahead, but I'm going to be the light in that meeting because I've purposed it to be that way. Even though there may be stuff coming at me that I'd rather not deal with, I'm going to deal with it in a positive way. I'm going to be the light that walks in the room. So one of my intentions for the day is to maintain a positive mindset. I may have to I talked to the ladies yesterday. We called them self-compassion breaks. Sometimes things get heated on the job. Sometimes people will trigger you wherever you are. It doesn't necessarily have to be the job, but give yourself a self-compassion break where you walk away from that situation. You take a few steps. If you can go outside and get in nature and walk a little bit, but just give yourself time to calm and recenter and then address the situation. If you're in a meeting and you're around a table virtually or otherwise, and there's no way to get away from it, go inside. While all the hoopla is going on around you, talk to yourself. I can bring light into this situation. I don't receive the negativity that's going on around me. I don't receive negativity. I combat negativity. You can talk to yourself and get yourself into a space where you are able to better deal with whatever it is that's going on around you. And then you want to practice reflective listening in conversations. That's a big one because there's so many distractions that's going on around us all the time. It is hard to really focus in. But reflective listening can really help. So if someone is talking to you and they're telling you their story, especially if the story is going on for a bit, your mind can start to wonder. Reflect back to them what you heard. Okay, so what I hear you saying is, when this happens, da 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 da. Did I get that right? Oh, is that what you meant? I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. They know without a shadow of a doubt, not only that you're listening, but that you're actually interested in what they're saying. That enhances relationships. That shows respect. That makes a person feel heard in that moment. And it trains you to be a more active listener and to show up better in conversations, any type of conversation with your kids, with your family, on your job, with your employees, wherever you show up, whatever hat that you're wearing. If you can actively listen in those conversations, the relationships are enhanced. Those people feel heard and respected, and they return that respect. That you become a place where they want to be, because they know that you see them and that you're interested in what they have going on. So that's 4 or 5 just quick tips on how you can expand your ability to be intentional. Create an intentional morning routine. Design your environment for intentionality. Use your technology mindfully. Implement a daily intention planner. Actually plan out what you are going to do that day. It doesn't have to be to the letter of the law, but give yourself a thing or two that you're absolutely going to accomplish, and do that, and watch your self-confidence begin to soar. You know that when you commit to something, you can count on you. You know that you follow through and that you get things done. That positive messaging starts to play in your head because you're seeing yourself in that light. And then practice reflective listening in conversations, so that you're deepening those conversations and that you're honoring the people that you're taking the time out of your day to be in conversation with. I see one more comment has come through. Camille said, morning, everyone. And let's see, I think we have gotten to everything. What did I forget, Brian? What do we need to say before I jump off and get started with the rest of my day? I've got a meeting that's starting up.
Find your vision today. Join the vision board.
Find your vision today. Thank you, Brian. So it's scrolling at the bottom. I did the same thing yesterday. Find your vision today is a vision board party that I will be throwing virtually on May the 25th from 12 to 2 p.m. Central. That's on a Saturday. Not too early if you want to sleep in, but not too late where you still have plenty of your day left to get all of your errands run. So the 25th from 12 to 2, we'll start with a goal setting workshop. During that workshop, we will talk about good goals. We'll spend time in the different areas of your life and give you the opportunity to determine where you'd like to see something different, and start to think through what goals you are willing to set in that space. And then after that, we slide into the creative part of all of that, and you have the opportunity to actually create your vision board. So when we're done, if you're not completely finished, you're well on your way, and you've turned your dreams into something visual that you can keep in front of you, to keep you motivated and focused on what it is that you're wanting to accomplish at this juncture of your life. So join us on May the 25th. Go to www.findyourvision.today to join the vision board event. I'd love to see you there. We had one earlier this year that went great, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. We will be back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Central, for Thankful Thursday, where we will focus on gratitude and the power of my favorite topic, gratitude. So thank you guys for your attention today, for joining in and sharing. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m.